Deshaun Watson facing a 24th lawsuit. Breech, why don't you describe the specifics of what this lawsuit said to us?
Well, it's pretty rough for a couple reasons, because it's somebody that Watson's camp and his defense team didn't know about beforehand. They released a statement.
Oh, this is a new one, huh?
Right. So you would think.
I read the specifics of this. It's not great.
Yeah, it's basically.
It sounds fairly similar to.
All right, let him talk. You want to talk? Let's hear it.
Right.
You want to be on record?
Do we actually want the specifics?
No. He's trying to get you in trouble.
Basically, Watson made this woman very uncomfortable by touching himself in front of her, and going even further than that,
going to completion, in fact, in front of her.
Yes, and so, and like I said, you would think that Watson had revealed all the names to his lawyer. Hey, these are people that might file lawsuits against us. So the fact that there's a new one that they're not aware of kind of throws a wrench in things. It makes you think, is this now, the NFL was saying, hey, our investigation's almost over. Now you have to look into this, because if Watson's defense team didn't know, it's just all
if you're the
crazy.
Browns and you're Watson's defense team, you're like, hey, buddy, are there 25? Are there 40? Like, you need to.
Right.
And also, what happens if the NFL comes down with a suspension and then 2 more names come out? Then what?
So I was talking about this with our buddy Adam Gold on Monday, because he was asking me what I think the NFL will do. I think the NFL will do one of 2 things. I think they will either suspend Deshaun Watson for the entire 2022 NFL season.
Is this just your gut? Are you?
This is my gut feeling. Mm-hmm. Or they will suspend Deshaun Watson for somewhere between 6 and 8 games for the 2022 NFL season, and note very
clearly,
like state it very over the top that future punishment remains on the table pending a full investigation, because I really don't think that they want him playing this whole season under the cloud of this investigation.
And another thing real quick, and this is what Mike Florio noted, Pro Football Talk on Monday, I think, that in Watson's contract, he basically filed a written disclosure with the team and said, I can't be double jeopardy for it. So these are the cases where my money cannot be guaranteed. But if new cases that are not included, and we don't know, maybe this woman, maybe Watson wrote this person's name, because it doesn't mean he wrote 22 names. He could have written 35 names. We don't know how many names he has in there. But if this woman's name is not in the disclosure and he were to lose the case, then his guarantees could potentially become voided.
Yes.
And allegedly he may have, again, we don't know if he's guilty or not, but allegedly he may have forgotten some names.
Right, exactly. And reading this, because I wrote the story on this on Monday, and just kind of reading the lawsuit and where this is all going. And look, Ben Roethlisberger was 2 sexual assault accusations, no criminal charges, got suspended 6 games, and it got trimmed down to 4 games on appeal. Now that was
12 years ago, by the way.
That was 12 years ago, and society has come a long way in those 12 years.
Ben ain't getting 6 to 4 because we covered that for Fan House. Like, it ain't going 6 to 4 based on and now you're talking about 24 accusations. And let's say you're a Browns fan who's defending Deshaun Watson. You say, if you don't believe 50% of these women, you still have 12 accusations on the table. Like, it's such an incredible number that I agree with you, Brinson. I think the punishment here, and this is just, again, conjecture, just a guess based on everything that we've read and seen. These lawsuits, a lot of them are pretty detailed. This 24th one is very detailed, is that I do think that the suspension is going to say you're suspended indefinitely with a chance for you can come back after 1 year if you come plead your case to Roger Goodell. I'll be surprised. Now, I thought that 8 games seemed like the minimum, but I feel like a year seems like what it's going to be now. Now, the other thing they could do too is if the NFL, because I really feel like the NFL wants to have something out there. Remember that it's not going to be Goodell who hears it's a former U.S. attorney, I believe, or a former district judge or something. I saw where's Peter King?
Well, and while you're getting that, Ryan just dropped this in from the Albert Breer saying the 24th lawsuit against Deshaun was a bit of a surprise to the NFL and possibly the Browns. And so if it was a surprise to the NFL, he loses credibility
with the league and with his team,
because they're going to say, well, you weren't forthcoming, because I'm sure they asked him if there were any other cases out there. And if he either misled them or flat out lied to them, that's going to be a giant red flag.
And again, if you say something like, oh, I forgot about that person, that also does not help your case.
Like, there's so many people that you forgot about people. And so this is just not a good look. I mean, it hasn't been a good look, and now it's gotten worse.
Peter King did the 22 most, or I guess 23 if you count Aiden Hutchinson, 23 most influential people in the NFL. And honorable mention, first one was Sue L. Robinson, retired former U.S. District Court judge who will hear the Deshaun Watson discipline case once the NFL investigation into Watson's behavior is complete. Like, you're getting a former U.S. District Court judge, a former female U.S. District Court judge, who's going to hear this case based on what the NFL, the evidence, the information that the NFL has gathered. Like, this dude is not getting off of the 2-game suspension. She is going to hammer him if it looks like he is guilty, and especially if it looks like these cases keep popping up. Like,
do you think Jimmy Haslam, D. Haslam, Andrew Berry, Kevin Stefanski, where are they at on the regret meter right now?
Like,
is it 0 or is it
12.5 out of 10?
I think Haslam is 12.5 out of 10 because he had to sign off on this. But if this 24th case is the one that allows the Browns to void their contract, then they're like, we dodged a bullet.
But you just undo everything. Picks back.
What?
Yeah, there's still a lot of PR.
No, it's a PR nightmare, but you don't lose $230 million.
I'm just talking about the
lose
whole
3 first-round picks.
Right. You're setting back the organization.
And Baker's like, I'm out. Like,
no, it's a disaster. It's an absolute disaster.
You're just the Browns again. Like, you went from being like, oh, we fixed the Browns to, no, you're just still the Browns.
And Andrew Berry and Jimmy Haslam, are 100 out of 100,000 out of 10 on the disaster scale. If you're Kevin Stefanski, you're just like, hey, they asked me and I just said, do whatever you want and I'll coach.
Right.
It's like you can play plausible deniability.
Kevin Stefanski, you're like, I'm getting a new boss soon because Andrew Berry's getting fired.
I don't know the particulars, and I'm guessing you're just speculating too, Breech, but it feels like Andrew Berry was clearly driving this train, and then Kevin Stefanski seems like the way when he talks to the media that he wasn't necessarily involved with the decisions early on. He very well may have been, but to your point, I'm acting like, oh my God, what's going on here? I was just coaching football, and now things have gone sideways in the most Brownsian way ever. And our quarterback is Jacoby frickin' Brissett.
So, yeah, lots to still unfold in the Deshaun Watson case.